Hey, welcome to the last full board meeting of 2023. We have one exciting financing to consider and a few governance items to take care of. I want to compliment the staff on the annual report. Al, I know you haven't gotten yours yet, but it looks great and demonstrates what we all know to be a very busy year. So, Sarah, you want to just call the roll to officially get us going?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. With us in the New York City office, we have Lisa Gomez, our board chair, Jerry Romsky, our vice chair, Beryl Snyder. Alfonso Carney is participating from a remote location, and Wellington Chen is also in the New York City office. We are expecting Robert Rodriguez to join in the New York City office as well. Here in Albany, we have Joan Sullivan, Adrian Swazerski, Ken Evans, and Christina Coughlin. And in Buffalo, we have Janice McKinney. For senior staff, we have Vice President Charlie Williams, Steve Currow, Kim Ellis, Nadine Fontaine, all here in Albany. Portia Lee is with you in New York. Dave Ostrander will be presenting today. And we also have Matt Bergen, Matt Moore, Jeff Arnold, and Amanda Nazario at the table with us. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. I feel like we now are like a live broadcast. Back to me. Okay. Our first item.
Ricardo also, I'm sorry, Ricardo Salomon, our Deputy General Counsel, is also in the New York City office.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah. Our first item is to approve the minutes behind tab 1. May I have a motion? Jerry?
So moved.
Okay, seconded by Al. Fantastic. Thank you. Next up is Jerry to give the Finance Committee report. Over to Jerry.
Thank you very much. A few minutes ago, and we approved the meeting minutes from the November meeting of Finance. We then advanced to discuss the Cornell offering that's on today's agenda, and we recognizing the longstanding relationship with DASNY, which we truly appreciate. We recommend that offering be approved shortly. That concludes my report, Madam Chair, unless anyone has any questions or concerns.
Fantastic. Okay, so next up is the aforementioned resolution for Cornell. It's an exciting to see them expanding across all their campuses. And Dave is going to take us through the transaction summary. Dave?
Thank you. The board is being asked to adopt a resolution to proceed for a financing on behalf of Cornell University, the details of which were described to the members at the meeting of the Finance Committee. So at this point, staff is asking for authorization to proceed with the issuance, bond issuance in an amount not to exceed $800 million on behalf of Cornell. And it's anticipated that we will bring this financing back to the January board meeting for the members to adopt the financing documents. That concludes my report.
Okay.
This is a terrific institution. Just a huge, they play a huge role in New York City, a huge role. And we're fortunate that we can point at them and say they are clients. We're very lucky.
Sorry. No, I just didn't know. I thought it might have been a single approval, but I guess
No, resolution to proceed. So we do need a vote on the resolution to proceed. So may I have a motion for that? I'll move. Beryl and Wellington. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? No. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, now may I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the financial and credit history of a particular corporation, matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and or proposed or pending current litigation.
So moved.
Okay, Al, Jerry, thank you. Will you send us to executive session, Sarah, please?
God damn.
Up is Beryl and the corporate governance report behind tab 4. Beryl, take it away.
We had a meeting of the governance committee this morning. And after approving the minutes from May, the committee undertook the annual review of certain items as required. Sarah, would you give to the board a brief description of the actionable items?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. The Governance Committee earlier today also reviewed the Governance Committee Charter and Principles. No changes were recommended. The review of those items is complete and no further board action is required for those two items. The two actionable items were also considered by the committee. There's two items that need to be considered and approved by the full board unless there are changes. The first is the mission statement and performance measures, including performance metrics. The Public Authorities Law, Section 2824A, requires that the full board review and do an annual review of these once per year, and we typically do that at a fall meeting of the full board. No staff members identified or recommended any changes. And the committee similarly had no recommended changes. So, Madam Chair, I will turn it back to you for a resolution to approve that.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments on the mission statement performance metrics? No?
None here, Madam Chair, and I move approval.
Okay, great. Thank you, Al. May I have a second? Robert gets, is that Janice?
Second.
Second, thank you. All right. Jan, I feel like Janice should get to have a second because she's lonely over at Buffalo.
Right, I'm
There will
always
be
by
a-
myself. There's always in it.
Okay.
If the Bills make the playoffs, Janice, I'll come up for a game at next meeting on.
Really?
Sure you will. Sure you
Really?
will.
Very cool. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next up is disposition of real property. I guess that's you again. Carol? Is that you? Sarah's doing it.
Sarah is going to,
Okay.
the second document must be reviewed and approved by the full board, the disposition of real property guidelines. Sarah, do you have anything to add to that?
I don't. No changes are recommended by either staff or the Corporate Governance Committee.
Fantastic. Great. Then may we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert. Second, please.
Second.
Second, thank you, Al. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion unanimously carries. Okay, Beryl, I guess back to you to continue your report.
Yes, that the committee also finally considered the implementation of raises for staff officers and other management confidential employees in accordance with the promulgated budget bulletin from DOB. After the discussion, the committee members unanimously agreed to recommend approval by the full board. Does, I think, Madam Chairman, do you a lot of madams here. with our madams.
All
Do you
right.
want to recommend approval of the resolution unless there are any questions by anyone about these raises?
Great, great. I think everybody was here for the governance meeting. So,
Yes,
so could we have a motion to approve?
so moved.
Great. Second? Someone?
Sure.
Jerry, Robert, thank you.
Team effort, we're joint.
I like that. I like that. It's an active board today. Fantastic. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion unanimously carries. Okay, anything else, Beryl?
I think that's it, Madam Chair.
I'd like to add one thing. Happy birthday to Beryl. Today.
Thank you.
Hey.
Is your birthday today? Is her birthday today?
Birthday.
My birthday.
For the record
With
clear.
a governance committee meeting.
Instead of
Okay.
birthday.
Motion to wish the governance committee
I will-
chairwoman a happy birthday.
Take that.
Okay, happy birthday, fellow Sagittarian.
Thank you.
Okay,
Ricardo sing.
okay.
She still doesn't get paid, right?
Moving right along to tab 5, we have Charlie and the Vice President's report. Charlie, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to start with Michael Clay, who is the Senior Director of our Opportunities Program Group. Michael is highly regarded across New York State for his work in minority and women in business enterprises and here at DASNY, and is a sought-after resource. He's receiving 2 awards this month: the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Regional Alliance for Small Contractors, and that Minority Business Development Institute is giving him a leadership award as well. So I just want to recognize Michael and his tremendous efforts in his field and the recognition of his leadership. So it's a small round of applause.
May I add to your comments, Charlie? Michael Clay has played a pivotal role in DASNY's recognition across New York State of the MWBE, the significance of MWBE efforts. Several governors have obviously supported the effort. Michael Clay has been extraordinary. And while his role in DASNY is, I mean, he has a title and he does. But outside of DASNY, Michael Clay has done work that is recognized by contractors, MWBE contractors. It's evolutionary. He is leaving, and I don't know what DASNY's plans are for the follow-up supporting that role. But if you don't know Michael, you should make an effort to get to meet him. He takes what he does extraordinarily seriously, and he has been, again, extraordinarily successful. So Charlie, thank you for recognizing him in the board meeting. The 2 awards he's getting, he got one, I think, already. I couldn't be there. I wanted to come, but I was here. I wasn't in New York. And there's another award that is coming up shortly. If you have an opportunity to shake Michael's hand, do so. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished.
The comments are well received and certainly ring true. Michael's a great guy and a fantastic colleague. If I can find a way to nail his feet to the floor, I will.
But he gets paid, so it's okay.
Yeah. Last board meeting, we highlighted a sustainability conference that DASNY did, and I want to highlight it again because for a number of reasons. First, congratulations to Sal Renda, Eric McQuaid, for the great presentation they did. They had between 60 and 80 institutions and people, engineering firms, architecture firms, public universities, private universities, all about meeting the energy goals set out in CLICPA, the state's climate legislation, to create sustainability on campuses when we build. And it was very well received. We got great comments, but it was an in-person event in Albany, New York, and it attracted people from every corner of the state. And folks were really happy to get together and discuss these issues. We received, like I said, tremendous feedback. And then Brittany Stinson and Deb Fasser and also Joanna Yackel also played a big role in setting up this program. So just congratulations to them, because people, I think, appreciated the opportunity to meet in person and have these, one-on-one discussions with the experts at DASNY. So it was a great event. We have coming up in December our all hands biannual meeting. It's a get together we're going to have in Albany on December 15th. Everybody is welcome to come. All board members are welcome to attend. It's at the State Museum. So thanks to our colleagues from the State Education Department for making that available to us. So it's an opportunity for DASNY people to get together and talk about our goals, talk about our successes this year, and meet one-on-one and in person with the entire staff. So we encourage everybody to attend. We will be having also events in New York City and in Western New York. for Janice, who always has to sit alone in Buffalo, and for our New York City members.
Thank Charlie, when is that in December?
It's December 15th. It's next Friday.
Where is the State Museum? I don't, I've been going back and forth to Albany. I don't know it. Where is
Get out of the city, Al. Come on.
it? I'm sorry, Joan. I'm not putting it down. I just don't know where it is.
It's right in Albany at the Empire State Plaza and easy exit off of the interstate.
But does it have a particular focus?
I should let our SED representative,
Yeah,
Christina
great
Coughlin,
museum.
talk about that. but-
Sure. Well, the State Museum, which DASNY is currently working on a renewal of, a badly needed renewal, I'll say, but it is features New York State history, New York State natural life. There's, dinosaurs, and there's furniture and all kinds of things about. There's a 9/11 exhibit that
Mhm.
people really like. So thank you to your staff, to the staff who are working with us on a renewal, but it really is a kind of neat space. And I think your staff will enjoy their time there.
I'll look forward to, now that I know that, I didn't know there was a state museum. And what you've just done is, I love museums, and it would be great to find some time to get in there. That's not a reason for me to come to Albany. I want to come back to DASNY. I haven't been there in 2 years, but I would love to see this museum. And Ms. Coughlin, would you, can I ask you to help me to see it the best way possible? Not with you there, but maybe you could put me on to somebody, who could haul my ass around and help me to see what's there to see.
Will do.
Thank you.
We'll work something out.
This is all part of our employee engagement effort. We are doing a number of events here and remotely for employee engagement. We've surveyed employees to see what they want to hear about. We've had one, Portia Lee did a great one, sort of a bonding 101 for staff. We've done other events as well. So we want to continue the employee engagement and these in-person events with employees so we can generate synergies and discussions amongst our staff. We'll also,
Portia, you didn't invite me to come to your bonding 101. I would have if you had asked.
It was a very exclusive event.
Well, your last, when we were here last month, you had a very nice international food festival over there.
Oh, good Lord, this some of the best food I've had in a long time. It's great.
The mislabeling, but it was excellent.
so we've also completed the annual report that will be available for your review. We added a section. I'm sorry, we added a section on grants for this year. Our stakeholders in government rely on DASNY heavily. We manage roughly 18 or have managed roughly 18 different grant programs. Every year they turn to us for administration of these grants. So it's a growing part of our portfolio and important to DASNY and important to our stakeholders. So in there, you'll see some information on the grant process. And
Charlie,
then the board.
It's Al again. And I'm sorry for cutting you off, but the grants program is extraordinarily important to DASNY. I mean, truly important to DASNY. Are you comfortable that Sarah has the resources that she needs to get it done the way it should be done, top shelf should be done?
I am confident, and if the grant program continues to grow, we'll add staff as necessary.
Yes, sir. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
And the schedule for next year's meetings is in your packet, and that's it for the vice president.
Okay. Fantastic. And then tab number 6 is our public finance report by Portia. I'm very excited to go through your new report that I know y'all have been working hard on. So turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We discussed last month a revised transaction summary report template. Dave Ostrander has really worked on this and he's done a fantastic job. You heard earlier today on the financing for for Cornell University. That standard report was in your board materials. Included in my report is sort of a mock-up of what that transaction report would look like as we've sort of revised it with the new template. I'll tell you, honestly, I'm really happy with this. I think this is really, it's really an improvement as far as the report is concerned. And I guess I'll outline really why I like it. And that's because if you look at like.
I think it's great.
Oh, good,
I think
good,
it's
good.
really,
Oh,
really
good,
crisp
good.
and does what you wanted it to do and makes it easy to read. So big fan.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. There are some, Lisa, that would say, at this point, maybe I should just shut up.
Yeah, yes, you should probably not go in,
Take your laugh.
be done.
Okay, and really, again, many, many thanks to Dave Ostrander for this.
Dave, great job. I don't know if you're still in the room. I can't.
David, are
quite
you
see.
still in the meeting? I can't see all of you, but are you still there?
I'm here. Thank you very much. I appreciate
You
it.
too.
Well, exactly, had to do two reports. But if you look at the cover page, all the things in that blue banner on the left, those are all the really important authorization issues. And so they're
Thank you.
clearly outlined in that blue banner on the left. Then on the front page, you've got all the information about what we're actually asking you to do, what the purpose and security is, and then the financing details. So those are really, I think, in our view, the important things for the board in terms of what we are asking of you. Following later in the report is the borrower information. You've got all the same tables, charts, those kinds of things that you had previously, but we really aim to do a couple of things. One is eliminate the redundancy, because there was a lot of redundancy in the old report. And then the second thing is we tried to streamline the borrower information so that we're giving you information, the same kind of enrollment information, operations information, balance sheet information, but basically we tried to put those in bullet form. And we just think that, it gives you sort of a nicer, cleaner, crisper overview of what it is that we're presenting to you. The other thing I'll say from a staff perspective is this is set up in a way that makes use of technology and also enables us sort of a cleaner way to pull the information from our database to actually go into the tables and charts that are presented to you. So
And the one chart, Portia, where you do the refinancing, it shows the savings, how it's spread out.
you
That
will,
will still be in
exactly,
there, right?
if there is a refunding with savings, you will still get that.
And Portia, does the banner on the left change when you actually finish the transaction, or is there a summary that does that? Where you have the final terms in terms of negotiated, fixed, what amounts? Because usually we authorize for more. Just curious if we see it again in a different format for your bond summary report.
Yep. So in terms of what comes to the board at the time of action, this will stay the same, because as you know, it's a general
Resolution.
authorization. We do have bond sale summaries
Yeah.
after we complete the report, and then you get sort of a more finalized view of what it is that we actually undertook.
But we're leaving that one alone. That's gonna stay as is.
Correct.
Okay.
Great question. Great question. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Portia, for working on this. It really was a lot of work.
Yeah, no, we're
It's nice,
pleased about
clean
this-
up.
this
Well, let's thank
is-
Dave.
Yes, exactly.
I thank Dave earlier. I gave Dave Brendan credit.
And the first page looks a lot more like an OS, so, if you've seen those, all the information you get on the first
I
page.
can
So great.
imagine just sort of streamlining it, sort of is less room for error if you're, having to mention something 4 times. It's
Absolutely,
that stuff is always a pain.
absolutely.
So really well done. Look forward to more innovation in 24.
Great, thank you so much. Really briefly, then I'll just give a real quick market update. Total 2023 long-term new issue supplies, approximately $341 billion year to date, down about 2% year over year. This week's supply is expected to be heavier than recent averages at almost 10 billion. Tax-exempt bond yields were lower on Tuesday as compared to the day before, with the 10-year AAA MMD decreasing by 4 basis points to 2.57%, and the 30-year also decreasing by 4 basis points to 3.73%. U.S. government bond yields were also lower, with the 10-year Treasury decreasing by 10 basis points to 4.18, and the 30-year decreasing by 13 basis points to
10-year
4.4.
really dropped in the last, like, 10 months.
It has, yeah. Yeah, over the course of the last month, it's really dropped considerably. Municipal bond flows reported outflows for the week ending November 29th after the prior week of inflows. To your point, Jerry, since the November 8th board meeting, the 1-year MMD rate has decreased by 51 basis points. The
Wow.
10-year by 71 basis points, and the 30-year decreased by 55 basis points. During that same time period, the 10-year Treasury yield decreased by 40 basis points, and the 30-year decreased by 45 basis points. So that's a brief market update. The only other thing I would mention to the board is also included in my report are bond sale summaries for 5 transactions that also include performance metrics. And that concludes my report, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Any other questions?
How soon is Cornell coming to market with that rosy outlook?
Bring them back for adoption of documents at the January.
So they'll be
meeting.
next year.
So, yeah, next year. Yeah.
And with the reduction in interest rates, the precipitous reduction in interest rates, and a lot of talk about a cut rather than an increase by the Fed, are you seeing the pipeline of people making inquiries, entities making inquiries, picking up a little bit more interest? Obviously, nothing yet finalized because the interest rates have not come down quite yet as much as a lot of places might be interested. But have you seen the process kind of filling up a little?
It's feeling a bit like that, Beryl. It is, and I think for all the reasons that you mentioned. You know, we had heard from folks that they were thinking about transactions into 2024. You know, let's call it maybe second quarter or so. Maybe those guys are coming in for first quarter. So we'll see. But it is, yeah, it's feeling that way.
Well, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. And it's overall good that interest rates are at least on the stable or coming down. So that's good for the state, good for everyone.
And we have nothing to do with that St. Rose thing, right, Portia?
No, we have not issued on behalf of St. Rose.
Any other questions for Portia?
None here, Madam Chair.
All right. Fantastic. All right, so moving on then to Kim and the financial report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In your packet are the standing monthly financial report and the quarterly treasurer's report with highlights. Unless there are any specific questions, I'll defer comments on the monthly financial report to the mid-year financial update, which Jeff Arnold will provide a few more details later on in the report. But before I move on, I just want to highlight a couple of items in the quarterly investment report. The investment portfolio increased by approximately $500 million, primarily due to new money bond issuances, offset by construction expenditures and payments to bondholders. I'd also like to draw your attention to the broker-dealer reports results on the last page of the report to highlight we had an exceptional quarter for MWBE participation, where over 63% or $4.5 billion in trades via phone solicitation went to an MWBE firm, with another 9% or $655 million going to SDVOBs. On the electronic trading side, where we're seeing more MWBE and SDVOB participation, we awarded just under 12% or $379 million to MWBEs and just under 1% or $28 million to SDVOBs. We continue to see how leveling the playing field for many years ago through updates to our investment policy and guidelines has enabled many non-majority firms to showcase their ability to be just as competitive as majority firms. At the next quarterly investment report presentation, I hope to bring to you cumulative results for the 9 months ending December 31st, which hopefully will show how we've improved over the years in our MWBE participation.
Again, let me make the point that Michael Clay has played a pivotal role. I don't know who's slated to step into that role once he has left it, But we wouldn't have those numbers but for the efforts of Michael Clay and his staff. And I cannot, uh, yes, I can. I will not overestimate the importance of his role in our MWBE successes. Kimberly, thank you for emphasizing. I will emphasize as well. And let's just see what happens. But Charlie, we need to make sure we don't drop that ball.
Great.
Any further questions?
Kim?
Including your materials is our current projected financial results for this fiscal year. As noted in the memo, projected surplus has improved from 1.4 million to a projected surplus of 2.6 million. I'll now turn it over to Jeff Arnold, our Director of Budget and Operations, and he'll go through some highlights of the changes.
Thanks, Kim. So as outlined in your materials, DASNY has prepared an update to the budget and financial plan summary adopted by the board at March 1st, 2023 board meeting. This update is part of the annual budget process required under the Public Authorities Reform Act of 2009. The updated 2023-24 expense projections include salary expenses projecting to come in $2.4 million under budget, primarily due to filling positions slower than anticipated, combined with retirements and resignations that have led to our overall headcount remaining around 460 to 470 FTEs. Benefit costs are projected to come in $500,000 under budget, primarily due to updated retirement contribution expenses. We have that actual invoice in process, so we know that expense for sure. M&O expenses are projected to be about $0.4 million under budget, with utilities, corporate insurance, and computer services all projected to come in slightly under budget. Overall, our internal operating expenses, excluding pass-throughs, are projected to be $3.4 million under budget this year. The non-internal operating or pass-through expenses are projected to end up $20.3 million under budget, primarily due to our post-employment benefit accounting entry, which is represented as an expense with an offsetting receivable for public clients. While revenue is projected to decrease by $20.1 million from the adopted budget, most of that decrease is a result of the previously mentioned post-employment benefits accounting entry. For public clients, we recognize an expense and corresponding revenue for their allocable share of our post-employment liability. The expense is actually projected to be negative this year, despite the fact that we adopted a $20.7 million budget for it, due primarily to increases in interest rates associated with our actuarial valuation. And just to clarify on this point, because it seems to come up quite a bit in budget conversations, this is only an accounting entry. DASNY's not actually, sending out a check or a wire for this based on this valuation, but it does reflect in the budget though. As Kim mentioned, the projected surplus from operations increased from 1.4 million in the adopted budget to 2.6 million in the mid-year update, primarily due to an increase in interest earnings in the operating funds for our private and fixed fee clients, combined with a decrease in the allocated expenses to those clients. We are in the process of developing the 2024-25 proposed budget, which will be submitted to the board by December 31st, as required under the Public Authorities Law, and presented at the January board meeting. We anticipate asking the board to adopt the 24-25 operating budget at the March 2024 board meeting. I'm happy to take any questions that anyone has.
Thank you, Jeff. Lastly, I just want to provide a couple of project updates. As you may recall, at the November 2022 board meeting, you provided your approval to enter into a contract with SS&C Technologies for the replacement of our debt management system. I'm happy to report that staff has completed that implementation and migration of data into the new system, and we're currently live. The next phase is training and report creation to meet our ongoing reporting needs. Lastly, the biggest project that we actually just kicked off more recently, the board authorized us to enter into a contract with HSO Enterprise Solutions as our implementation partner to plan, design, build, train, and deploy Microsoft Dynamics 365 for finance and operations, which is the replacement of our current financial system, JD Edwards. We kicked off the project mid-November, just ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. We're currently in the analysis phase where we've had 8 or 9 workshops to date with staff going through our current processes. Staff has participated in these sessions and they have been very engaged and represent all areas of finance in addition to members of budget, IS, and from the construction division, purchasing, and project financial administration. The project anticipates 2 business releases. Release 1, which is budgeting, includes budget and the components of our general ledger required for the budget process. And we anticipate that going live next October. The second release, business release 2, which is the finance, is all the other components, which includes our general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, cash and bank management, procurement, project accounting, our journal updates, treasury automation suite, and interfaces between other systems. And that we anticipate going live April 1 of 2025 at the beginning of our 2025-26 fiscal year. We're in the very early stages of the project. However, I am very pleased with the level of interaction between both staff internally and with the consultants. This will be a multi-year project that will impact many areas of the organization, and I'll provide the board updates as we move forward. Unless there's any questions.
Big undertaking, so congratulations. I don't underestimate the amount of time and effort it takes on the part of staff to sort of deal with ongoing everyday business while implementing a new, pretty major software system that impacts probably every aspect of their lives. So kudos to the team.
Thank you, Kim. Thanks very much.
Any other questions? Okay, then I guess we will move on to Steve and the construction report.
Thank you. Good morning. I'll start with just a couple of statistics from our monthly projects report. We added 4 new projects this past period. The total value of those projects is approximately $70 million. 2 for CUNY, 1 at Baruch, 1 at various community colleges, and 2 OMH projects, 1 at the Capital District Psych Center, which is a new parking garage worth $45 million, and another at the Central New York Psych Center. We completed 2 projects, both for OMH, 1 at NYPI and 1 at South Beach in Staten Island. And there were a couple of drop projects. Overall project expenditures this period, 2022 were $360 million, and 2023, this period, $446 million. That's a net gain of $86 million year over year. A couple of project-specific updates, still struggling down at FIT. Although the project's substantial completion date is stabilized, is pointing to April of 2024. Still working with Con Ed to get permanent power to the building. Other than that, progress continues on the MEP work and finishes. We meet weekly on that project with FIT and our general contractor. We did complete the New Pulse project, the Awosting Hall Residence Hall project. That's slated for opening in January of 2024 for the spring semester. We're moving on to the next $40 million residence hall renovation project, which is the 5th in this community of residence halls, the 5th and final rehab project that will kick off also in January of 24. The UAlbany Colonial Quad project continues to advance. We have an April 2024 substantial completion date with fall occupancy slated. And Alfred's Mackenzie Hall Phase 3 is finishing up, also slated to open for the spring 24 semester. CUNY, we're meeting with our counterparts at CUNY next Tuesday. Continue to work on advancing changes DASNY has suggested. I'll be down there with Kate Sealy-Kirk and Mike Stabulus to meet with our counterparts. We are planning to announce changes to our processes, to our staff and CUNY staff at the January CUNY coordination. Beyond that, we have a project at Lehman College, the School of Nursing. That was a $100 million project that we're hoping will be ready to go for the spring semester 2024. And there was a steam pipe failure at Hunter College this week. DASNY was engaged by CUNY to work on stabilizing that situation, and that's happening yesterday and continues today. The DOH Life Sciences Lab project, we did conclude negotiations. The contract submittal is with the AG for approval. Following the AG's approval, it will move to OSC, and then we can begin formally the design of that $1.7 billion project. We're hoping that starts in early 2024. On the OMH front, just continue with a very heavy workload at a number of the psych centers throughout the state. We are doing a new, I mentioned the parking garage at Capital District Psych Center. In addition, on the OPWDD side, we've got a $33 million project out in Rochester, a design build project that we're advancing at this time. On the recruitment side, still over 30 open positions in the construction division that we're working on. As far as PLAs for board approval, we're working on a number of those. There's one for Rochester Psych Center, one for Western New York Children's. There'll be one for the Capital District parking garage. We are also concluding negotiations with New York City BCTC on the 5-borough PLA and beginning conversations, or I guess continuing to advance conversations with the Long Island BCTC for a blanket PLA as well. Charlie mentioned the Accelerating the Clean Energy Transition seminar that was held this past week, or last week at UAlbany. So I won't go into any details on that. Yesterday, a few DASNY folks were up at the AGC conference, Associated General Contractors Conference. There was a liaison meeting with DASNY, SUCF, and OGS. So we presented a number of topics and answered a bunch of questions from the AGC membership, mostly regarding our capital plans, staffing concerns, legislative updates, procurement issues, and MWBE matters. And lastly, on the PM Web implementation, there's now over 1,000 projects in that system. We continue to migrate projects from our prior system, Contract Manager, into PM Web. And that concludes my report.
How do you like the new software, Steve? Does it work well?
Well, the only time you like your software is when it's going away. So it's difficult to bring up a new system. We're working through the the kind of the finer details of the system. Personally, I like it a lot, but it is a hard sell for staff who are used to and accustomed to their existing systems. So I think it's going.
Any questions for Steve?
Steve, what's the timing on some of those PLAs, particularly the city one? Is first quarter next year, second quarter?
Yep, so our New York City PLA, the current one expires at the end of this month. We are extending that for 1 month. The New York City BCTC tells us they can get it done in time for our January board meeting. So I'm going to assume that by the end of January, we'll have the replacement PLA in place. The others are project specific, and they'll just kind of fall in line with the bidding schedule for those projects.
Anything else? Anyone have anything else? Okay, could I have a motion then to conclude our final meeting of 2023?
So moved.
So that seems like unanimous. All right, we're signing one of you motion and one of you second. All in favor?
Aye.
Just like to wish the staff happy holidays for all. Thanks for navigating through a challenging financing environment, challenging staffing environment, but as always, You all made it look easy. So best for the end of the year and to you and your families, and we will see you in 2023. 4.
24. Madam Chair, some of us actually celebrate Christmas. And what I'd like to do is to offer a Merry Christmas to the entire staff and the board.
Okay.
Thank you. Best wishes to all of you as well.
Okay.